Hello and welcome to the Bookyard. I'm Sam.
And I'm Kai.
How was your week, my friend?
My week is good. I've been trying to catch up on Love Island, but they post like 6 episodes a week. Like, how am I supposed to stay caught up? You know what I mean?
Okay, everyone at my work is obsessed with Love Island.
I
right
love
now.
Love Island.
You know, Man Rachel, who like works in the office across from me.
Yeah.
Who is like fairly young.
Yes.
Every day he like comes into the hallway and he's like, "Who's caught up?" Because he just wants to immediately talk about it. And I have to disappoint him because I'm like, buddy, I'm so sorry. I haven't watched at all. Like, I'm so sorry.
Well, and it's been really tragic because I'm normally a UK Love Island kind of gal, but everybody's been watching US, so it's really thrown me off because I miss my UK, but US has been fine.
Okay.
It's definitely not been my favorite season. I just have nobody to root for, and I'm just like, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
But we're nearing the end here, so...
Okay, just explain to me, what is like the end goal of Love Island?
The end goal is to have the fans vote for you because they like either like you or they like your couple, and then you win a cash prize.
Ooh, that's fun.
But there's like different like things, like you do like challenges, and then there's like drama, and then you like sleep in the same bed, and there's things called Casa Amor where you split up your couples and go and live for like a couple of days or a week or something with new people.
Interesting.
So they like mix it up, and then you come back and see if like your person was loyal to you who you were coupled up with before.
I'm guessing not a lot of them are loyal to each other.
It kind of depends on the season and how strong the couples are. Like this season, there's really been nobody that's super strong that even needed to be tested through Casa Amor. So it's kind of like,
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. But I really love Ariana Madix. She's like the host.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I like that. Did you see my eyes go blank?
Yeah.
Where I was just like, uh-huh.
I'm passionate about it. That's what matters. Anyway, how was your week?
Honestly, my week's been great. Let's get into this, though, because I've run out of stories to tell you because I tell you everything. And I'm so excited about this episode that I just, like, can't handle it.
Okay, that's
I've literally been just, like, shaking in my seat for the last, like, 10 minutes because we keep just, like, talking about other things. And I'll be like, it's time.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's get into it.
Okay, so, guys, this week we're going to talk about an incredible 2025 release.
Yes, new release.
Woo-hoo. Okay, it is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Yeah, sorry. We actually called her the wrong thing in the little sneak peek last week.
I think we mixed up her last names is the only thing.
So I'm so sorry, Taylor. Tay-Tay.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I wanted to talk a little bit about how we heard about this book because neither of us actually have read Taylor Jenkins Reid's other books.
Yeah, because she's come out, she's really big. She's come out with the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six, which are super big in the community that we just haven't read for whatever reason.
I know, I just haven't gotten to them. They've been on my TBR forever.
Yeah.
But basically, okay, so last season we did a best and worst episode of Poppy Books.
Yes.
Right? This is our Spanish Fork, Utah local, like it is our indie bookstore that we go to all the time.
Yeah.
We love them. When we were talking to them about best and worst, obviously we had to frame it as best and worst and everything, but they were really upset. The bookseller that we talked to, she was really upset because she was like, I read probably the best book that I've read in the last several years. This week, but I can't give it to you because it was like an advanced copy.
Yeah.
So she was like an advanced reader copy, like reader. So she was an ARC reader. And she told us like, you have to be like super excited for this. I think it came out in June.
Yeah.
And she was like, it is probably the best story I've read for the last several years. Like, and I was so excited. I wrote it down. I pre-saved it. I was super excited. I was just like, I am going to read it. And then at that point I was like, I'm not going to read the other books by her because I want to be surprised. Yeah. Because I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
But we have been waiting since like February for this book. So we are so excited to jump into it.
Yeah. And I mean, they're still suggesting it to people. I went to Poppy maybe 3 weeks ago now, and there was a girl, and I was like, oh, are you reading Atmosphere? Because she had it in her hands. And she said, yeah. It's like, I just barely audioed it. It was amazing. And she said, they actually keep suggesting it to me. So I figured I trust them. I might as well get it.
Absolutely.
So they're still pushing it out because it's incredible.
No, because it's so good. So Kai's going to be Blurb Girl today. And
yes,
it's going to be so fun.
It's going to be amazing. One of the words I don't know how to pronounce, and Sam already told me, and I'm just going to change it.
Okay.
So here we go. You guys aren't even going to know which word it is. It's going to be a secret.
Aha.
Secret. Okay. Joan Goodwin has been obsessed with the stars for as long as she can remember. Thoughtful and reserved, Joan is content with her life as a professor of physics and astronomy at Rice University and as an aunt to her precious niece, Frances. That is until she comes across an advertisement seeking the first woman scientist to join NASA's space shuttle program. Suddenly, Joan burns to be one of the few people to go to space. Selected from a pool of thousands of applicants in the summer of 1980, Joan begins training at Houston's Johnson Space Center alongside an exceptional group of fellow candidates. Top Gun pilot Hank Redman and scientist John Griffin, who are kind and easygoing even when the stakes are highest. Mission specialist Lydia Danes, who has worked too hard to play nice. Warm-hearted Donna Fitzgerald, who is navigating her own secrets. And Vanessa Ford, the magnetic and mysterious aeronautical engineer who can fix any engine and fly any plane. As the new astronauts become unlikely friends and prepare for their first flights, Joan finds a passion and a love that she never imagined. In this new light, Joan begins to question everything she thinks she knows about her place in this observable universe. Then, in December of 1984, on mission STSLR-9, everything changes in an instant. Fast-paced, thrilling, and emotional, Atmosphere is Taylor Jenkins Reid at her best, transporting readers to an iconic times and places with complex protagonists telling the passionate and soaring story about the transformative power of love, this time among the stars.
Oh, it's just so good. I'm just thinking about the story at this point. The blurb was great and honestly wonderful.
Yeah.
But
very fluent, if I do say so myself.
Very fluent. I'm so excited. That was just like one mistake and like literally nothing else. It was so good.
I know.
I'm so proud.
Thank you. I'm growing.
Okay. This blurb I think is really cool, and I think the first part really captures like what a lot of people feel towards space, specifically like American people. And
oh yeah,
we've talked about this a lot. Like obviously it's a passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
I specifically also love space. and everyone who knows me knows this, right?
Yes, yeah.
So like even as a kid, I was just like, I loved space. I loved everything about it. There was this big part of like my junior high and high school and everything, like college experience, where I was like, I honestly feel like I may go into studying chemistry. I may go into this. I was just so excited like about space.
Yeah.
I can't remember how old I was, but I know I was in high school still when I heard about the Mars One project.
Yeah.
So it was this company and they were really just getting funding together to go and be like the first people to establish colonies on Mars, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was super crazy. I did so much research on it and was just like, this is so crazy. They had their specific like community design. They were taking applications for like all kinds of people. They needed scientists, they needed whatever, they needed this. And obviously I was like just at the point where I was like thinking about what I was doing in college and what I was whatever. And they also had said things like, we also need social scientists. Like we need writers and historians and like all of these things. And I was like, that's the direction I'm going. And I was so excited about it. So obviously I fill out my application and everything. And I was just like pumped. Like there was this very serious part of their website, right? That was like, hey, so obviously as like the first like settlement, the first colony, we have the capability to get you there. Like we think it's like hypothetically we can get you there.
Yeah.
But we can't get you home.
Right.
Like technology just hasn't progressed that much. So if you sign up for this and if you're chosen and you go through all these steps, like in all likelihood, you will go to Mars and you will die there.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally came home and I was like, is this something I really am willing to do? Like I genuinely was so serious about it that I was just like, okay, I like had conversations with my parents. I had conversations with everybody around me. And I was just like, yeah, absolutely.
I'm willing to do this.
I want to do it. Like I cannot believe like that would even be a question in anyone's mind. I was like, I'm willing to do it.
Yeah.
So I obviously signed up and like for years I was just like, that is so crazy. I like immediately got a letter, not immediately. It was like several months later that I got a letter and it was like, you're not even 18. Like we're obviously not going to like consider you. And I was like devastated, but like genuinely devastated. But I like constantly told people like, I'm going to reapply on round 2. Like I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
So like years later, I kind of like lost touch with that kind of stuff. And like, obviously I was still just very passionate about it, but I had been led in different directions and had gone different ways.
Lost sight of the future.
Lost sight of space, you know? But I came back and I think I had like come back from living in Bolivia and I was like, I wonder where Mars One is at. And I think I looked it up like a few years ago, and it was like a total scam.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a scam until you told me that maybe like a year ago.
Like, I think the like company went bankrupt and like all these things, and they didn't like, they were misleading people about like things. I don't remember the exact story, so like honestly you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but like it was not a thing.
They weren't ever planning to go to Mars. They were just getting people's money.
I was devastated, like, because this had been like a fundamental part of my personality where I was just like, I would do it in a heartbeat. Like, I'm so excited, like I would definitely do it. And the minute that I was like, it was never real, I was genuinely devastated. Like, I think I cried. I wasn't even part of it, but I was definitely like, oh my gosh.
So if you didn't know Mars One was a scam, I'm really sorry. Not many people do. They just think like, oh, they're just working on it. Like,
yeah, no, and that was like an easily like 10 years ago.
Yeah. I remember
I graduated high school 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh,
crazy.
I was just gonna say I remember being in like 3rd grade and reading about it.
I know, because you're like several years younger than me, but like I was 17, so it must have been like 11 or 12 years ago.
Yeah, I think I was literally in 3rd grade.
That's so crazy. No, it was just like my lifelong dream. Like, space has always been my, like, I loved it.
Yeah. And I'm so sorry that your dreams were crushed, but
that's okay. So it definitely, this book absolutely like lit that fire again. Obviously, space, amazing. Like, it was just every part of like what you want in a story, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It was just like, I have a thing for night stories.
Yeah,
this was my space story. I loved it.
And I love that for you.
And I know you have a space moment too.
I do have a space moment. I really became obsessed with space when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, kind of around the time that because it was just so
there
big.
was like a weird mini wave.
Yes.
I definitely think that there was like a cute little comeback for a minute.
Yes. And I loved watching, like, this is kind of like dark, but I'd like to like learn about like the Challenger and like what happened. And like, I just loved like learning all about all of that stuff, and it was always so crazy. And I would think about it, and I'd go home and watch like the breakdown videos of what happened. So like, I think we've all been there. I mean, I'm not as passionate about space now, but like, I still like to learn about it. And like, oh, that's so cool, but I don't give my time as much to it.
For sure. No, that makes total sense. I think it's something that's hard to like have a relationship now, like as a concept, space, because so often the people who are able to go to space are there because of privilege. Like, we live in an era where like Katy Perry just went to space, right?
And I think that's where it comes in, is I'm like, oh my gosh, space, but it's turning into a privilege thing, and only the rich can go to space rather than people who are training and going for the better. It's just to be like, I went to space, you know?
Well, and my like obsession with space when I was younger, I'm sure yours was like similar. It was that it was like a human endeavor. Like, it was about all of us, and it was about like everyone on the planet like getting to know more about humanity by like traveling outside of Earth, which was so cool.
Yeah, but we won't get into that too much because this is a podcast, not a depression.
Yay. So I want to jump into the characters if we can.
Oh, yes.
This book is very character focused.
Absolutely.
I loved it. There's that question on the story graph that's like, hey, is this plot based or is this like character based?
Or mix?
It was absolutely like, it was very character. I mean, there was obviously a mix. There was some plot and everything, but it was very character motivated. And I loved that about this book.
Yeah, it was great. Speaking of, there's a prompt. It's the last one on story graph when you're putting in your opinions about the book you just read.
Are the flaws of the main character a focus of the book?
A main focus.
Focus of the book.
And the first time I read that, I thought it was asking if there are main flaws with the main character. So for literally like 100 books I've been putting
You've just been like, yeah, this guy was real flawed. I hated him.
Or like if it was a crappy book, I'm like, yeah, they honestly sucked ass. And like I'll like put like oh my gosh.
You're like, yes, they're flawed.
I found out yesterday I was doing that wrong.
That is so crazy. I laughed so hard when you texted me. I was like, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, I just wasn't. I was updating something on my computer. So like it was different and it was a little bit spelled out more. And I was like, wait a minute.
You're like, this is not what I've been answering. Okay, I love that.
Anyway, the characters.
Speaking of flawed characters here.
Oh, but they weren't flawed.
They weren't really flawed. There really wasn't a ton of flaws, except with Barbara, because she sucked.
I hate her.
Okay, so our main character here is Joan. Mm-hmm. She's amazing. She is obviously an astronaut, which is super cool.
Yeah, she's an incredible, talented, and intelligent woman.
I think she's an astrophysicist or an astronomer is what it was. Because they were talking for
about
a minute at the beginning about like the distinguishment between astronomy and astrology and everything like that. But yes, then we have Barbara, who's her little sister.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Frances, who's Barbara's daughter.
Yes.
Her Joan's niece.
Mm-hmm.
We have Vanessa, another astronaut. She's also like, she's mainly a pilot. So she like flew commercially.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Lydia, who's like the mission specialist. We have Donna. We have John, and we have Hank. So these are all like astronauts here.
Yes, and this is set in the 1980s.
Yes. Which honestly, big space stuff going on. Like
big space stuff, big stuff against women. Like we're in a big growing period, not even in the planet, but also in society and culture.
Absolutely. And this book is, from what I've understood about Taylor Jenkins Reid, she does this where she places things in real like time periods and like within real events. In this book specifically, it talks about Sally Ride, the first like woman, right? And like American woman. Okay, so she talks about, which I really don't want to like, but Sally Ride is in this book, and how it was such an impactful experience for American women at the time because it really just showed them like how close they could be to space, which was so cool. But these women specifically, these astronauts, are part of basically the second space group to go up.
Yeah, and they have so much more to prove.
Yes. Well, because they're really trying to make sure that they are perceived well, because there's such a social stigma against women at this point that they're really just trying to prove that they are never going to be a problem. So a lot of the book deals with like, some of them believe like they need to be the exact same as the men because they can't cause any extra problems because otherwise they'll never send women up. Yeah. Like all of these things. There's definitely a lot of social issues that these characters are dealing with. Yes. But I did want to talk a little bit about Joan as a main character. She is so incredibly smart. Yes. And so bright. And I think that in her like family relationship, specifically with Barbara, Barbara has always just been like a little spoiled, a little like she's just gotten everything she's ever wanted. And Joan has absolutely fed into that. But Joan takes a big role in raising Frances. So they have this gorgeous relationship.
Yes, Frances looks up to her so much. She goes to school and tells everybody like, my aunt is going to space, like she's amazing,
she's
like
an astronaut. Like, it's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, so they really have an amazing relationship because Barbara got pregnant with Frances when she was very little. I think she was 16, 17. So it was kind of like a scandal, especially at the time. And so she really didn't get to experience being a teenager before she became a mom, and she really resents Frances for a lot of that. And we'll just be like, we'll just take you over to Jones so that Barbara can try to live this life that she wanted to have. And she really doesn't accept the life that she does have and nurture that life.
Well, and for that reason, I think Frances like stays at Joan's house like every weekend and it's just like Joan takes that on herself because she feels like obviously she loves Frances. Yeah, of course. But she also feels all this like obligation towards her sister and everything. We also learn about Joan very early on that she really has never had like a relationship. Yeah. She doesn't feel particularly drawn to romantic relationships at all.
No, she's always just been like, I just don't think it's for me. And people will make fun of her and be like, you just don't, you never hang out with people. And
like she never goes on dates. She never does anything like that.
And she's just been like, that just hasn't been important to me. I care about Frances and I've never felt that pull to have a boyfriend.
Well, and there's this part where she gets into the astronaut program and she is like with this other person. I can't remember which one it is. Is it John?
It's Griff.
It's Griff. Okay, it's Griff.
I don't remember what his first name is.
I think it's John Griff.
Oh, yeah, it is John. It's John Griffin and they call him Griff.
They call him Griff, yeah. So they, go out a few times and he's obviously pursuing her romantically. And she's just really trying to like avoid it as much as possible because she just doesn't see it happening. Like she knows he's gorgeous. Yes. She knows he's smart and kind and like an astronaut and it would be so fun and great. So like in theory, she knows all these things about him, but she also is very like she doesn't want to be a part of it. Like she feels really no pull to it. So as a group, all these astronauts go together to like a strip club which so fun. Way to be, guys.
Okay, guys.
And she sees this woman there, and for the first time, really, she's like really drawn to this person. Like she like feels actual like attraction to someone.
It's her sexual awakening.
Absolutely. And we like kind of see before this that Vanessa, the pilot, who's also an astronaut, is like, she knows this about her. Like they have a conversation about things, and Vanessa is constantly kind of like hinting like, do you think there's a reason you're not into Griff, or like is there this, you know?
Yeah,
Vanessa is very intuitive, right?
She
like
knows, and she's just waiting for Joan to find out for herself.
Yeah, because we find out that Vanessa is also like a lesbian, right? So it comes to light that Joan really is attracted to women.
Yeah,
she doesn't like necessarily define it, but she absolutely is like a lesbian in this context. Which, if we know anything about the United States government in the 80s, specifically in the space program, these astronauts were absolutely devoured by media, right?
Yes.
So technically it was not like legal for homosexual relationships to be occurring in government positions, right? Like it wasn't illegal to be a gay person in the United States at this point.
Yeah.
They couldn't get married. They couldn't like do this. There was obviously a lot of stigma, but government jobs specifically outlawed this in their like moral code of conduct.
Right. And we see that like the leads are like, this will compromise your position if you put yourself here.
Yes. So like they're obviously in reality, this was something that actual like people went through. And it is something that Joan and Vanessa, through their like beginning of their relationship towards having like an actual relationship, have to deal with. Because there are so many times throughout this book that they are, as they fall in love, they just can't experience it in the same way that the people around them can.
And that was one of the most beautiful and heartbreaking things I felt like through the book. I cried multiple times in this book, but one time specifically, I audioed it and I was listening, and I just remember Joan being like, I don't understand why. I think she was watching Donna, and I don't remember who she married.
I think Hank.
Donna and Hank were married, and they were all at a party and they were having a really good time, and she was just like, I don't understand why me and Vanessa don't get to experience this as well.
I have the quote. I have it pulled up. It was what I wanted to talk about. Okay, I actually have it pulled up here.
I'm so excited.
The quote is, happiness is so hard to come by. I don't understand why anyone would begrudge anyone else for managing to find some of it.
Yes, that is exactly the quote that I was looking for.
It's beautiful and heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. You know, I am somebody who is straight, so I've never had to experience that kind of discrimination and pain before, and I just can't even imagine. Like, my heart goes out so much to those people who feel like they can't be themselves and be with people they love because it's frowned upon, and it ached me. Like, I cried. I was like, I can't, because like I said, in my own bubble, like, I'm aware that is an issue, but like in my world, it's not a day-to-day thing to me.
Right, absolutely. It's not something that you constantly have to perceive. And we get that time and time again. You know, Joan and Vanessa want to go away, and they both have to like make separate excuses, and they have to drive cars to separate locations, and then they have to meet up somewhere, and they have to like hide who they are, which, I mean, it was so heartbreaking because these women have absolutely followed their dreams. And in any other context, they could just say, you know, like, screw society's expectations, right? We're just going to be openly out and it's going to be great. But these two women had to choose between basically the two great loves of their lives.
Yeah.
Both of them are extremely passionate and so smart and so good at what they do that they had to choose between going to space and being together. And we find that this is like a main conflict in the story. Yeah.
We, just to like give a little more context, Vanessa had the opportunity to go up on a space shuttle and go into space. And before she leaves, somebody like a director gets whiff of Joan and Vanessa's relations and makes a comment to her. And Joan kind of freaks out because she's like, she finds herself not enjoying really going to space. So she's like,
yeah, Joan's already been to space.
She's like, I'm okay.
Had that opportunity, but Vanessa hasn't yet.
And she is like, I don't want to take this opportunity away from Vanessa. And so she really just shuts down and is like, Vanessa, we can't be together anymore. And
she tries to break up with her.
Vanessa's like, are you, because it's been like 4 years at this point.
Yeah, they've been fully together for years. It's like an established relationship.
And it was just absolutely devastating having Joan feel like she couldn't ask that of Vanessa. And Vanessa was like, I will give it up, though.
Yeah. I loved actually that part because I think the love story is really a main focus of this book. Because we do jump back and forth in time.
Yeah.
And I do want to mention that this is a book where we are going backwards in time.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the book, we realize that Vanessa is in space.
Yeah. Sorry, do you see me tearing up over here?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm right there with you, girl. And I'm going to get through it.
It's going to be fine. But this book was just...
Yeah.
Wow.
So we figure out very close to the beginning that Vanessa is in space. And something happens. There's an explosion in space. And several of her astronaut comrades die.
Yeah.
There is another one, Lydia, who they believe is still alive. They can read her stats still, but she's very clearly been exposed to the space environment for too long, and she's going to die if they don't get her help. So Vanessa is actively in space trying to find a way to get home, and knowing that the spaceship or the shuttle itself is so damaged that there's not a very high probability that she can get home.
Yeah.
So we're jumping back and forth. We get these moments where Vanessa is struggling so hard to get her and Lydia home.
Yeah.
As soon as she can and as safe as possible. And then we jump back and forth between her and Joan's relationship, which is beautiful and also heartbreaking at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But what I really wanted to touch on, obviously, was the space aspect is great, but their love story is so, it's so raw and so, close to the heart that I think it genuinely is so touching because, when Joan tries to break up with Vanessa, they have both been so loyal and they obviously are incredibly in love. They love one another very much. And Vanessa has to have this moment with Joan where Joan tries to break up with her and Vanessa has to kind of attack her in a pretty raw way. It's very aggressive. And she's like, you do not get to make this decision for me. This is not a one-way road. This isn't the Joan show.
Yeah.
This isn't you had your chance to go to space and now you're going to make sure I have it regardless of my feelings. This is what I want. This is what I want to do. And if it costs me everything, it will cost me everything. Right. And it's just, it's heartbreaking. But Vanessa does get to go to space. So we get to this part and I want to tell you a little story about this. I have a few stories, actually. I have 2 stories. First of all, I finished this book well over a month ago. It was beautiful. I read it on my way home and I sobbed. I was listening to it and I stopped at a crosswalk and someone was crossing the road and I was legitimately sobbing to the point that my car was shaking. And the person was like, this person's dying. So enough time has passed that I was like, I'm going to be fine. This is going to be great. Yesterday, actually, my husband and I drive into town to go to Poppy Books. I needed to pick up a copy of something and I wanted to pre-order Rebecca Ross's next book.
Yeah.
So on the way there, Em's like, tell me about the books you've read recently. Because we do this a lot.
Yeah.
I start telling him about Atmosphere and I am driving again. And I am just sobbing because I'm trying to explain how significant this love story is and how much it touched me as a person.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to talk about their relationship without getting emotional because it was so strong. So I'm genuinely sobbing as I'm driving and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, this happens every time. Don't even worry about it. So I get to Poppy, I get all my stuff and I go up to the register and Chelsea's there. You know Chelsea, she's one of my favorite booksellers at Poppy. Yeah. She is there and I was like, hey, she asked me what I'm reading. I talked to her. I was like, I read The Night and the Moth. I actually just read Atmosphere too. And she was like, oh my gosh. We both teared up. We both started crying again. Yeah. It's a powerful story. It really genuinely is one of the most powerful books that I've read.
Yeah. Joan as a character went through so much and you really feel for Frances as well.
Yes.
Her mom Barbara was so awful. And she just kept sending her off and Joan would have to pick up the pieces. And I saw myself in Joan a lot of times when taking care of Frances.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another part that was really impactful and so emotional for me, because I was like, this is my life too. Like,
yeah,
especially growing up, it was just, oh my gosh, I don't know.
Well, and you get these characters, specifically Joan and, you know, Frances and Vanessa, you get these people who are so deserving of happiness.
Yeah.
And I would say, you know, every person is deserving of happiness, but more so than a lot of people, Joan and Frances and Vanessa were so deserving of happiness.
Yeah.
And at every turn, they were denied the ability to like show what made them happy in public.
Yeah.
So the other story I wanted to share with you is, okay, so new like Sam lore.
Okay.
Obviously from the space obsession. When I was obviously a teenager and everything, I went through this whole thing where obviously I was like enjoying old music, and you know, teenagers go through it where they just like discover all this music from forever ago.
Yeah.
And they discover it just like America was discovered. Like it already existed, but like teenagers find it and now it's new again.
Yeah, totally.
So during my whole like space obsession thing, I went through this whole like David Bowie phase. And obviously in this book, it references Bowie quite a bit because he talks so much about space in his music. He really does.
Yeah.
But his song Space Oddity, for some reason, like I listened to the song, and the first time I listened to the song, I sobbed. I don't know why. Genuinely, I like sobbed like a baby when I listened to it for the first time. And I'm not kidding you. Like every very close person to me in my life, like my mom, my husband, whatever, we've listened to this song like spontaneously. It will come on during like a road trip or something, and I cannot physically stop myself from crying. I just do every time. It like touches me very much. It's about an astronaut who is in space, and he is up there and he sees the world, and there's this beautiful like instrumental part where he's looking out over the world, and he tells, you know, Houston or whatever, he tells them like, tell my wife I love her very much. And they say, she knows, right? Every time I sob like a baby, every single time. I can be in the middle of talking to someone and that part will come on and I will genuinely sob.
Start crying. Yeah.
It's really hard. There is a part in this book that was genuinely the most impactful part for me, because throughout this book, we're watching Joan and Vanessa's love story evolve, and they very clearly love each other so much.
Yeah.
But no one else can know that.
Yeah.
Right. And Joan, who has already been to space and established that it's not something she wants to continue to do, she becomes a controller.
Yeah. Sorry, me and Sam were both
genuinely crying. She becomes a controller, so she's the person at the head, at the control, when Vanessa is up in space and they think that Vanessa's not coming home.
Yeah.
Right? So throughout this whole thing, we know that their relationship is just absolutely beautiful. But there's this part where Vanessa apologizes to her and says, I think that, do you remember when we had that conversation about these songs about space and in Space Oddity? She asks, Major Tom says, tell my wife I love her very much.
Yeah.
And Vanessa says, do you think that the wife knew that he loved her? And Joan comes back and very clearly, obviously echoing the song, says, yes, she knows. But they're obviously not echoing the song. They're talking about themselves. And everyone in the room with Joan knows that she loves Vanessa.
Yeah.
It's not something that's able to be hid in that moment. The love of her life is in space, and she may or may not come home. It's written all across her face. And she is able to tell her in that moment that she knows that she loves each other, like Vanessa.
Yeah. It's
incredibly impactful, and I genuinely sobbed like a baby. I'm already like, I'm crying right now.
You can hear me crying in the back.
And Kai is the one sniffling in the back here with me. But it is something that genuinely will stick with me for probably the rest of my life. I think there hasn't been a day that I have gone since reading this book that I haven't thought about them.
Yeah.
And I think there are very few books like that. I think that in our lives as readers, we get very few opportunities to be faced with characters and stories that impact us to the core. Mm-hmm. Specifically when we're reading so many books.
Yeah, we read a lot.
But Atmosphere is so well worth it because it is so human. And I want to say this because I just genuinely don't know that a person could read this book and still feel like they had the right to be a bigot or had the right to judge who another person loved. Because the love that Joan and Vanessa share is so human and so pure, and they're so deserving of it.
Yeah.
So obviously that's new lore and everything, but that part was very impactful for me because of my like background with that spot. But I don't think there's going to be like a day that goes by that I listen to that song now without thinking about Joan and Vanessa. Like, I think it gives like meaning to why I've been crying the whole time, because it genuinely is just a moment where like it makes you reflect, right? And this specifically makes you reflect on the love in your life. Like, you obviously relate a lot with Francis's story. Yeah. And when I was, reading, I definitely was like, what would I do? Like, what would I do if the person I loved, like if my husband were up there or if I were up there, like, would he know? Would the people in my life know that I love them? And I would hope that like Joan, they would easily say yes. Like, absolutely. We know. Yeah. We know.
Yeah. Wow. I'm kind of pulling myself together here. This book was just truly incredible. I have suggested it to so many people because it was just so impactful. And I don't know that I've read a book in the last year that's been up to this level.
No. It's been so good. I already want to reread it.
I mean, even just talking about it, I started sobbing. So
every time I talk about this book, I have cried.
I am just so glad that we were able to do an episode on this and talk about it, and I have no words.
Yeah. I think that a few like honorable mentions here. I think that other really positive parts of this book, just to end it on like really great notes, were the way that they tackled like everyday sexism in the workplace. Yep. There are specifically quite a few characters who go in. There's one character in particular who is an astronaut, and he isn't part of their main group, but he makes very disparaging comments and jokes about like women. And I believe it's Lydia who always laughs along.
Yes, it is.
And then, Joan and Vanessa and, the other women in the group are like, why do you do that? Why do you laugh when he is like disparaging towards us? Why it's not something that we want to continue, right? And Lydia obviously like tells them, I want to be seen as one of them. I want to be seen exactly like a male astronaut because I want them to know that I'm never going to be any different from them. Like, I want them to consider me the same. But we also get the flip side where women who don't tolerate that joke, they want to be taken seriously for who they are and not just because they're exactly the same as the astronauts who've been up before them. Joan is not going to be like Buzz Aldrin. Yeah. She's completely different. And as every astronaut is different, so are they. Like, so are the people in this book. Right. So I do think that it's very interesting to talk about the everyday sexism that they face. And I also think it's important to mention that there were quite a few people in this book who didn't openly tell Joan and Vanessa that they knew about their relationship, but hinted at it really frequently and also were very supportive of them.
Yes. Yeah.
Even their leader in this situation, when he approaches Joan about his concern about Vanessa, he tells her, hey, I need you to look out for her. Like, I need you to tell her that people know about this. But he never like implicates them. Yeah. And then he specifically tells her, like, I know her and I know the situation, but we work for the government. Yeah. It's not me. Like, I love you. I love both of you. Yeah. Right. And I think that it's very interesting to see how like allyship looked in the moment. And obviously this isn't like reality, but I'm sure that there were a lot of people who were very well aware of situations and who were supportive of it. And I think it was so impactful for them that they had a few safe spaces. Yeah. So those are kind of some honorable mentions. I really wanted to make sure we ended this on such like a positive note because it was such a good book. Yes. That I genuinely would recommend that anyone would read it.
I would recommend it to literally anyone.
I think it should be required reading.
In school, you have to read this.
You have to read it. If you're going to read
anything, you
Gone
have to
with the Wind, you're going to read this.
You're going to read it. Yeah, it was so incredible. Next Monday night.
Monday.
Oh, I was going for yeah, but I was going for a Love Island transition.
Oh no!
Because I
thought it was like the,
tomorrow night in the villa. I was going for like a Love Island transition.
Next week in Sam's basement.
We are going to be adding a new scientific theory to our arsenal that we have. This one is called the fiddle.
The fiddle.
And I don't know that I want to give too much away. Do you want to give too much away?
I don't know. Maybe not. Let's
okay.
keep it a secret.
It's going to be a secret. But as well as the fiddle, we're also going to be doing our pitch a book follow-up, and we're going to be reading what was pitched to us last time. So if you want to be up to date and know what we're talking about, so you're going to go back and listen to episode 5. And just a quick reminder, those 2 books were The Grace Year and Shield of Sparrows.
We're so excited to go over them together.
So we'll catch you here next time.
Yay!
If you enjoyed today's episode, you are in luck. We post every Monday. And if you want to get your fix throughout the week, you can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at The Bookyard Pod. See you guys.
Go read Atmosphere.